ex used to buy me McDonald's.
Inside
My ex
your
used to buy Gucci bag. I want to start a business. Give me all your life savings. And he has not put a ring on your hand.
Don't do that.
There's no guarantee.
Don't do that.
Don't say we didn't want you. That's just when you are accommodating a family member. Always make sure that you're on the same page with your partner. Welcome back to our channel. So today we are shaking all the tables. Shaking
the table.
Today we'll be addressing some common issues in relationship. We saw some questions and some issues that we gathered from social media and from friends. So today we'll be addressing it. So as you all know, I'm Mrs. Usagi.
I'm Mr. Usagi.
And we are live with the Usagi.
Yeah, fair.
So we'll go right into it. Number one, finances. Okay. So the question under finances is his money our money and my money my money. So for those that know, there's a common trend that is going on in social media and of course among ladies that the husband's money or the man's money is our money, but the money she makes is her own money. Obviously. And so today we'll be talking about it. So honey, what's your take on that matter?
Well, for me, thank you so much for the privilege. I would say I disagree with that concept of the wife's money is her money, then the husband's money is their money. I don't believe in that.
Why don't you?
Number one, there's I've listened to some preachers here and there anyways. Some of them be like, you should have like 5 accounts or 4 accounts. One for investment. She should have a personal account for our upkeeping. Not everything should okay, honey, can I have money for this or whatever? No. Then I should have one on my personal account. Then there are also like joint accounts. That's not even investment account is the one that is on his own for buying properties. Maybe you want to buy a new car or you want to do some other investment here and there's like major projects. So, but certain money has to be our money and my money has to be my money. But all this money all joined together is our money. The reason I'm saying it because if there's an urgency for us to put a large amount of money together, the best way to do is to communicate with my wife and say, I think this is what we should do. We'll put all the money together to achieve a common goal. So at the end of the day, I cannot say it's our money. It's our money temporarily based on the fact that our daily needs has to be catered for and she can use some of those money. But if that money is available, I want to achieve something big. If I say bring the money, she'll bring the money, we'll use it together. We understand that. Don't you ever hide your finances from your spouse. It can lead to so much injustice, so much problem, crisis in the home. So what you do, let her know what you earn. If they gave you a promotion at work or they increase your salary, like just a few days ago, she showed me, they increased my salary with so figure. I was like, wow, this is really nice. And I quickly did my maths. And I saw that the figure was really good. I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Now, things like that are okay. Maybe you did overtime at work and all those things. Let her be aware. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing like our money, my money. It's our money. Okay.
From a lady's perspective, guys, I agree. Obviously, I agree with that. So for me, I feel like, first of all, let's just make it clear. There are 2 categories to this thing. There is coming from someone that's in a relationship, dating somebody, and then it's coming to someone that is your spouse. When you're dating somebody, obviously there's a period where obviously the man has to woo the lady on a proper relationship, especially if you come from the African culture or even on a normal, like, well brought up man. So you take her on dates, you buy her flower. There's a lot of receiving from the man because obviously you're in a dating phase. He has to not just win your heart, and obviously this is no one shoe fits all because obviously there's certain situation where the woman may be doing well, making more money, and she has to pull up her weight. But in the dating relationship, ideally, obviously the man tends to do a lot more because he spends a lot, he's winning you, he's dating you, he's trying to like win your heart and all. So obviously these are things that you might see where a man has to spend a lot. In marriage, the 2 becomes one.
One
the 2 accounts become one. At least that I think that's the way it should be. Obviously, not to say, obviously, if you have a husband that, I know growing up in Nigeria, the way the home is normally set, and growing up with the way my home setting was, my dad did most of the working, my mom worked and she had a business as well, but we all knew that a lot of the expenses, when it comes to the school fees, when it comes to taking care of household things, came from my dad. But my mom also supported. You find out that in marriage also goes through seasons where sometimes something happens and the woman just is making more. You cannot say it's my money and then it will go like you just abandon your husband. I actually watched a show, honey, on YouTube where it was a serious matter. The man had a job. The man was so tough on this mentality of you are the head of the home. You are the one that's going to take up things in the home. So he was going through challenges at work. He did an investment deal that flopped, so he lost a lot of money. This woman, so he was asking for money. More like, no, you're supposed to be the head of the house. You have to provide. We need money for this. We need money for that. We need money for this. And then she was even saying like, see, what are we going to do now? You have to go talk to your best friend or your friend and find money because we need money. You get? She made it such a thing. Just for down the line, the woman now found out that the woman had about, this is in Nigeria setting though, the woman had about 10 million sitting in her account. She even had a property that she bought in another state that the man had no clue about. So he was so mad. He was like, and so in the comment section on this show, people were like, we're for and against. People were like, why is the man getting so angry? I said, man, you have to definitely be accountable and this like that. I was just like, so this is really a big deal. So people are like, she shouldn't have done that. That's a red flag in marriage. Hiding that money, hiding the property and making your husband suffer is very wrong. And then we had those that were still in support of the woman. So I was just like, this is really a big deal. So women are really big on the mindset that their money is their money. And the man is the head of the home. So he has to take care of. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, like my husband said, when you get married, everything becomes one. Account come one, finances come one. You guys have to agree on certain things. Obviously, it doesn't mean that you don't get to keep any for yourself. Obviously, having your own money, buying things for yourself or whatever, or you work so hard, you want to enjoy your own money, that's fine. Same with the man. But still be open about finances. Finances is definitely one of the issues in marriage that can be.
Is actually the number one major reason for divorce in homes. You know why I said that? Because finances, if the woman, the way the problem is the fact that the woman was hiding the money.
True.
And she was investing, buying property, and the man did not know. There's nothing that we hold together, or anything that we hold together, my wife does not know. And there is nothing that I will say I own that my wife is not aware of. No. She's aware. The reason why I let her, she's my wife, for crying out loud.
True.
Do you understand? Why should I hide things from my wife?
True.
God give us the ability to live long. But if my wife does not know things that the blessing God has given unto us, how is she going to know, okay, these are the things that my husband, that belongs to our family? She won't know. And that's why some people, when they leave this world, their wife does not know what they actually had. Their siblings or anybody else, they will steal those things. She knows every dime that I earn.
Yeah. There has to be transparency.
I know what she earned. Sometimes the seasons are different. There are times that my wife just like this, then I'm in the front, just making sure things are getting done the way it's supposed to be done. And sometimes, like I said, when it comes to a major project, we do it together. Please, spouse, never you hide your finances from your husband, except your husband is a lazy man. Listen, I said that for a reason. There has to be an exception. You understand? If he's a lazy man and he doesn't want to work and he wants to be into your financial business, if you want to hide it, it's up to you. But I would not advise you to disclose everything to a man who does not want to work when he has the ability to work. Don't do that.
Okay.
As a man, you have to be hardworking. You have to, because even scriptures made us to understand that God put us in the garden to work, not to be lazy. And work does not kill. Even if you don't have two jobs, you have one job, be consistent in one job. Don't be calling out from work every time. Because you have a wife that earns more money. Don't do that.
Exactly.
Don't take advantage of your wife. They're smart. Women are 10 times smarter than men. You've heard that before.
Yeah, and even to add to that, for single ladies too. I mean, like, obviously we're married, so of course we're dressing mostly from a married perspective. But as a single person as well, it's also important to understand that, you know, I'm always on the firm belief that when you're dating somebody, I don't believe in you being a leash. You have to also be, and any lady that's well brought up, first of all, already has that mindset that, you know, until I'm married to that person, I'm not that entitlement mentality where you want to take. You know, you have to buy me this, you have to buy me that, buy me Brazilian hair, buy me Gucci handbag, and things like that. You keep taking, and in many times, especially in the African culture, women don't retaliate when we are dating. Yet I'm not here, your wife, please. I'm not going to do too much. You get, obviously. So even for single people, even for people that are dating in a relationship, you know, there has to be boundaries. There has to be a certain level of decorum in what you take from a man. I would say from a lady's perspective. And ladies, obviously, don't be easily swayed. Like my husband said, don't let a man say, I want to start a business. Give me all your life savings. And he has not put a ring on your hand.
Don't do that.
There's no guarantee.
Don't do that.
Don't say we didn't want you. That's just
he
it.
will not be telling you, I was giving you love and you gave me money and now you want my money. No, don't do that. There should be boundaries. Like you see, like she just made a very big point. She made a very big point.
Know when too much.
You know,
it's too much.
Don't
just
do that.
Know when to say this one I have to match break. So definitely that's one. Second matter on the table: having exes and male friends in relationship. There's a popular opinion and a popular thing that's going on where a lady will say, I have a best friend that is a guy, and of course there's nothing between us. He's just my best friend. He's a man. First of all,
thank you.
And then most times in some rare cases they also carry that best friendship to marriage. So what's your take on it? Is it possible for a woman to have a male friend as a best friend or a very close friend without any emotional romantic feelings, and how does that play a role when she's now in a relationship?
Well, thank you so much, honey. The thing is, for me, how I grew up, my father never had a female best friend. My mother never had a male best friend. Do you understand? So for us, it's strange to say you have a best friend when you're married and it's a female when you're a married man. It doesn't work. I have to tell you the honest truth. And if it's the same sex, it's okay. Okay, my father best friend, my wife best female friend. Do you understand? But not opposite sex.
So why what's
so
the
for
big
me,
deal opposite sex?
Well, you know,
from a male perspective,
it's not everything that can be communicated.
Please communicate.
Number one, a male is a best friend to your wife. Just
no,
imagine,
we're not even wife. Let's just start with dating.
Dating.
So
if it's
woman,
dating,
you believe it's ideal first of all for a woman to have a best friend as on the opposite sex, and then she's in a relationship now. And how does that play a role? Like, you think it's also okay, like, to have a male friend when she's dating somebody and when she marries, like the different stages?
Well, I think it's okay if you're not married.
Okay.
Do you understand? But by the time you're not married, it's zero. Cancel it. It doesn't work. Do you understand? Because your husband at that moment is supposed to be your best friend. And my wife is supposed to be my best friend.
Yes, case closed.
So if I start having somebody else after marriage as my best friend, that's stupidity. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm telling you what it is.
Just
so before marriage, it's okay. But after marriage, nada. No.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So my advice for you is, your best friend, do you know where is to be married? Become one. Can anybody else to be here except Jesus? He's a friend that's still closer than the brother. Other than Jesus, there's no other best friend than my wife. I have siblings. They are my very good friends, but they cannot be my best friend. I'm telling you, they cannot, because I have a wife that's my best friend. I'm my best friend. Not this bestie. It happens before marriage. But I love my wife to say, my wife still have a lot of female friends here and there that are very close. Not opposite sex. Remember, not opposite sex. Thank you.
Okay. Honestly, I definitely agree with him. Just to also streamline it, as from a lady's perspective, honestly, we ladies, we know ourselves. When it comes to friendship, most ladies, because I know there's always exceptions to the rule, we are very invested. Friendship for a lot of ladies are like blood, sweat, everything. Obviously, at different stages is different. I found out that, like, as a woman gets married and have children, obviously her dynamics of friendship might change. But when it comes to friendship, ladies are very invested. Like, it takes a lot from us emotionally. We give ourselves into that friendship. So imagine you having someone that you tag as your close friend or your best friend that is the opposite sex, and you give that emotion, time, energy. Like, friendship requires a lot, trust me. And on the level of how serious friendship is, which is obviously another topic for another day on its own, the idea of friendship. But because of how we are built and how we are created to just invest a lot from ourselves on the relationship, like, it's just slippery slope. You get, imagine you having an issue with your husband, or you're quarreling with your boyfriend. You now go to another man and say, my boyfriend. First of all, once you even have an opposite sex, that is a guy, they will definitely not be on the man's side. It's already obvious.
It's going to be partial.
It's already partial. There's a higher chance of somebody on the same sex with you, making you see reason than the opposite sex. There's just something, like, honestly, then if you now, there's just so many, for lack of better words, so many crocro inside the matter, so many issues. Like, there are so many issues, even when it comes to sharing secrets, just talking about certain things. Like, it's just complicated, guys. It's just complicated. But the most important thing is that in relationship, I'm just here to say, in relationship, that's my own opinion. In relationship, it's between you and your partner, be it your fiancé, be it the person you're in a relationship with, or your husband. So if your husband is cool with it, who are we to say otherwise? Do you? But on a general scope, it cannot work based on what we understand so far. It cannot work. So, but not all shoes fit all. So do you? Whatever works for you and your husband, but make sure you're open about communication. Marriage communication is so key. A lot of the issues are part with communication. So make sure that he understands, make sure he's okay with it, and if he's okay with it, who am I to say no? But from our perspective, it's not a good idea to have the opposite sex as your best friend while you're in a relationship or you're married. Okay? To that, obviously, another matter that is also in alignment with that is the issue of exes, right? Since we're on the matter of opposite sex, best friend and all, honey, what's your take as well on exes? People that, I'm going to paint the scenario. So somebody was dating somebody, they're no longer together, but they're still in good communication. So they worked together before, they are still like friends, close friends, but they don't have any romantic relationship. And the woman starts a new relationship, but she's still very close to her ex. And she doesn't say anything wrong with that, because I feel like, I don't love this guy, I don't really care about him. We were dating before, but it's over. We are now friends, like we are good friends. Because when you date somebody, you don't want to end with bad blood, so we decided to be friends, but not together. How does that play a role from a man's perspective?
Thank you. Depending on the relationship, some people, they were somebody, maybe they were not having something serious, you know what I mean? Like maybe intimacy or something. Do you understand?
X is X.
S is still X.
As long as you dated that
but
person.
The reason I'm trying to say, you can, when you used to be with somebody, you had a feeling. Do you understand? You had a feeling for that person, and that person had a feeling for you. Now you're married to somebody, yes, and you want to still keep that relationship like that. It's wrong. I don't go around the bush. It's wrong. You can still talk once in a while. Maybe you have your birthday party or something event, your child is, you can invite if he wants to. It could be okay. But not that every time you're on the phone. I don't keep touch with my exes. Never. Yeah, I don't hate them, but I do not do that. Because number one, I'm in a different world now with someone God gave to me. It does not mean I don't regard them, but not that I should carry them inside my relationship. It doesn't work like that. So exes, just imagine you're with your spouse, your ex is testing you, calling you. How will it feel for her? So most of the time, just cut it off. That's my best advice.
Honestly,
And if you cannot cut it off, reduce how you relate with them.
the person.
Do you understand? Don't talk about them every time around your spouse. Even when your spouse is not there. Don't do that. Because by the moment you start doing that, your spouse start thinking maybe something resonating in you towards that person. Don't do that.
I just feel
Stay away.
To just make the matter very clear is like there's no point. So you dated somebody. You dated somebody meaning that you had some emotional, romantic relationship with that person. Most probably, except you were just joking around, but most probably you had at one time pictured your life together. You had one time pictured you guys having children together, and you guys break up. First of all, being friends with them, tell me I don't support it. Do you get? I understand though, we can say hi, hello if we manage to see our work, even if we work in the same place. But to say I'll just call you randomly, let's go and hang out. Or we're talking on the phone. Why? Like why?
Or you will not be carrying your family business to your exes.
Like there's a reason why you're my ex. It has ended it. It was nobody graduates from GS3 and goes back every time when they move to GS4 to check what's going on there. You've moved on. I just feel like to avoid unnecessary
so many
issues,
drama.
just end it and end it well. Then also too, another thing, as we are on this topic, is related issue in marriage. For those of you that have had exes, first ex, second ex, you have so many catalog of people that you've dated in the past. Exactly. You dated in the past. And then every day, you are saying, my ex used to buy me McDonald's. My ex used to buy Gucci bag. Repent.
That's not what you only want. Some people are married, citing somebody else in their marriage. How also person gave his wife a car. You don't need to be doing that. How also person took his wife to boutique.
Why are you not like
boutique and bought so many clothes and all those things? Are you not a man? Don't do that. Don't try it. The reason why I say you should not try it, you don't know what at that moment they are doing that, and you don't know whether they had a quarrel, and the man is just making up.
My sister, my brother.
Do you understand? The man is just making up to make sure that the woman is happy, everything is going on well, right? But you are just okay. If they did this one, no, don't do that. You're not really into their life. So let your husband do what he has to do for you when he is able to do it.
Definitely.
Not because somebody else is doing this for another one, you want to say, okay, husband, you must do for me. Don't behave like that. Grow up.
Honestly, comparison is one of the
big
issues in relationship. Like, you just have to learn to be content with who you have
and what you have.
My dear, if you were not okay with him, you shouldn't have married in the first place. And once you marry him, obviously there are cases where obviously spouses, we need those people that we can look up to, good relationship that we can look onto and do better. But that spirit of comparison where you are almost rubbing it into your front and face, just to make him feel less, just because somebody is doing more.
Don't do that.
It's to your detriment. At the end of the day, you're stuck with that person. So you might as well appreciate him for who they are, because the reality is that you can compare from now to tomorrow. What it will cause more division and issues, more problem between you guys. And those people that you're comparing yourself, they're living their lives. So please, in my own opinion, I don't believe in having a relationship with exes after you get married or once you move on. If we manage to see we're working the same up, we say hi, hello, fine. But to have your number and be texting you and
let's go out for a drink.
Yeah, or you have your birthday. I mean, I don't have any issue. I wish
birthday is okay.
Maybe on Facebook. I don't know.
Even birthday is not even.
I don't even think I will even text you on your birthday.
Should not even
happy birthday.
No, I'm talking about some people would like to invite the. Don't even do that. I will not even advise to invite your ex to your birthday.
Like I said,
don't do it.
This is our own experience and this is our own opinion.
Hey.
Do what works for you. Just make sure that your partner is carried along in whatever decision you're making and he's okay with it. Because at the end of the day, these are the issues in marriage. These are the issues in relationship.
There are two types of family visitation. Number one, there are some people, family members that come to visit and they travel back in 3 weeks, sometimes in a month, right? And there's some family members that have come to stay in a country where you already are. Like, for example, if you're in London or you're in America or Canada.
Even they move to your state.
And they move to your state. You don't want your family member to go and be looking for friends that they're going to stay with, except you don't have accommodation for them. because I know it happens.
So what's the
But the
question?
moment, last matter today that we are addressing is accommodating family members. How long should you accommodate a family member? And do you have any idea how a family member and how long they should be accommodated?
I mean, we have certain different situation. One of my friends was sharing with me how, you know, her brother-in-law came to live with them, obviously. And obviously, it was never defined from the beginning. He just came. It was supposed to be, in her mind, it was supposed to be a 2 months visit. You know, he came to a new country. He had just moved from their state, like home, from wherever home was to where they were living in Nigeria. And so he was in the house the idea was like he was going to be there for a short time. 2 months became 6 months. 6 months became 1 year. And she was just like, okay. And obviously, depending on the relationship you have with you don't want to also be like, you know, when you come with family members, there are different levels to family members. There is the in-law, there is the sister-in-law, the mother-in-law, they have parent-in-law. There are so many levels, and I think it's just a very broad topic where different levels of parenting has different levels of respect and regard. How do you want to address this matter, honey?
For me, like I said, definition of anything you're doing is very important. Even the person that is coming, be it your father-in-law, your mother-in-law, at least as my father-in-law, and I can ask my father-in-law how long are they going to say. It's my wife that tells me things. Do you understand? It's just normal. And they are always welcome to stay with. The point I'm trying to say is that those information, how long they're going to stay, I don't get it from them. I get it from my wife. It's a common sense. Do you understand? So when they come, we also know the purpose why they are visiting though. Some of them, like for example, I had my siblings that came from Nigeria. I knew they were coming to stay in America. Do you understand? But the thing is, I already knew they were coming. But I was a soft landing. We were a soft landing for them to stay with us before they found their place. Do you understand? But my family member that came, they came to stay. So, but I think they spent almost like, was it 6 months or 4 months with me in the same house before they found their own place. So the point I'm trying to say is that it's patient, it's understanding. There's no definition. When somebody's coming from Nigeria, for example, coming from any part of the world to stay with their family member for a visit, it has to be defined. It has to be defined. If it's not defined, the person will abuse that privilege. Do you understand? And you know, it's not easy to have a wife and kids and you have your family member come and visit and it's not defined. She might not be, she'll be understanding to an extent, but you to get to the point where she's no longer feeling it. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to overstay your welcome. When somebody comes, have a plan how to move.
I think perspective, thank you for sharing. I think to an extent, when it comes to these matters, it's something that first of all, have the conversation beforehand. If you're going to accommodate a family member, depending on who that family member is and whatever the situation is, you have a conversation as a partner, as a home, so everybody's on the same page. You know, my sister will be coming, my brother will be coming, this is how long they plan to stay, or whatever the situation is. You know, like I said, there are two categories like he mentioned. There is obviously the way they come to visit, which is a lot easier and a lot simple because usually visits are timeline. You know that they're coming to visit for a particular period. But when there's other part of it where family member is relocating, and so like he said, you are the soft landing, you are the place where they come to stay, and so that's where, especially in those situations, conversation is very paramount.
It's a key.
Having a clear definition of how things will be, and just like you said, being understanding, being open-minded. All these things is not one shoe fit all, depending on who the family member is, depending on your dynamics and your relationship with them, depending on how much they understand boundaries too. Because you have situations where, you know, family members sometimes don't know boundaries. I've seen so many situations, so many things on TV. You've heard having a clear timeline is important. Being understanding for that period is also important. And just knowing when it's time. It's time.
You know, actually, it just reminded me, you know, there was a time we were trying to buy a property. And I was like, Father, if you can give me this property, as my family members are coming, they will have a place to stay. And that's what actually happened. Good intentions always plays out. well. So it was, I'm just trying to tell you, be nice to them, be good to them, but don't be good to the extent that you don't understand the boundaries, like my wife just said. You know, someone is coming, let them know within so time this is where you're going to stay. And not just helping them to, not just telling them this is when you're going to stay. Also help them to find accommodation. Also help them to look for a job. So many things. And like family members that come from Africa, you know, it's quite easy. Prepare a place for them to stay. So it's not, so it's understanding. It's understanding.
I think this is, like I said, when it comes to family accommodation, like it's a very, very broad topic. It's something that, you know, has different situations. I think it's a whole video on its own, to be very honest, because there are many layers to this thing. All I'll say is that on a simplistic level, when you are accommodating a family member, always make sure that you're on the same page with your partner. You know, especially if they're coming to visit.
I like that.
Decide, okay, how long they're going to take. Make sure that you guys are working in sync, you know. Like you said, if it's 2 months that you intend for them to stay, they are coming to the country for the first time and they need somewhere to have a soft landing, make sure that you are working, you have plans in place so that 2 months doesn't become 1 year.
Exactly.
Do you get?
No, that would be very bad.
Yeah, 2 months doesn't become 1 year. If it is situation of, you know, someone coming to visit, obviously I think that's a lot more easier to manage. But yeah, you know, plan adequately.
But the one I don't like is, for example, if somebody's giving you a soft landing only 1 week, that's not good. That's not good. Most especially if you're a family member. That happened to 1 or 2 persons before. I know what I'm saying. How can you just come and say the next thing, where are you going to look for a place where you're going to stay? Like as if they are pursuing you. That one, I don't like it. I have to be honest with you.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to the couple. I think this matter, it has to do with the couple.
If you say
if the wife is not comfortable with the family member, you may be comfortable with family. If the wife is not comfortable with family member, she doesn't feel comfortable with them in their house.
It's not like that.
It is what. But I understand. But I'm saying that's where having a conversation comes in. Communication is key.
I'll tell
you guys have to be on the same page.
No, I'll tell you why.
No,
if for example, no, we have to be real. Let's say, for example, my wife's sister is coming to stay here or live here. And you want to give her a soft landing for only 1 week. Doesn't make sense. She's supposed to be here at least 2 months if she wants to.
That's what I say. It depends on the relationship I have with my sister. It depends on the relationship you have with your sister. The sister. I've seen a situation where, you know, the brother of the woman, of the man, was going to come up for 1 week. And the wife was just not comfortable. She was not comfortable with this particular brother. There were just so many red flags and she wasn't comfortable. Obviously, being the wife, talking to the husband about it, he's already biased. That's his brother. Sometimes you are very biased to see what, like, is your family. You see the best in them many times. And you're seeing it from one angle. But I am the one that has to stay at home and I spend more time with them. I don't feel comfortable. I shared 1 or 2 red flags with you. So to avoid issues, especially in a situation where it's an elder brother, for example, or someone that is in a place of more, you require, like, it's just, the relationship is just weird. That's what I'm saying, we have to be on the same page. Okay,
I understand that. What I'm trying to tell you, what you can do, for example, if I can accommodate your sister, an example, to stay for like 2 months, and my brother is coming, I cannot accommodate him to stay for only 3 weeks. You only give him 1 week to stay.
That's a problem.
Check your heart. That's what I'm trying to communicate to her. She didn't get it. But now she's understanding it. That's the problem right there. You know why?
You're picking sides.
You're just being selfish.
Bias is the word.
You're biased. You're selfish. You're biased. You're not fair. Yeah. You're working against equity and good conscience. You're not being nice. I'm telling you. Because the honest truth is, you have to learn how to give people room. Don't throw them out of your house. As if in the first place they were not even welcomed. You only did that so that it does not look as if you did not even give him or her a room.
So that matter is that when you're accommodating people, obviously have a conversation from the beginning about it.
But I understand.
And while the person is there, make them feel, give them the best care. Do it like you would do it for your own self. If you choose to accommodate someone and say you're welcome to my house and you guys are both on the same page, then don't, like you said, don't make them feel uncomfortable while they're in your house. Give them the best. Let them, the period in your house, let them feel like, they have the best care. They felt welcome, they felt at home. And when it's time to go, there's no grievances, there's no misunderstanding between you and family members. I think that's the way to go. Do you get? Don't now say, okay. And I think those things happen, like I said, because from the get-go, the wife wasn't, from the get-go, the wife wasn't having it. The wife was in agreement, or the husband was in agreement, but the wife pushed it. I think that's why situations like that happen. Because I feel like, but anyway, people change their mind in all these things. It's just a slippery slope. There are many angles to accommodate people. Share your thoughts if you have experience with this and how it went down and what you learned or what you would like to add in regards to this topic of accommodating family.
It's better to learn from people than to make mistakes than you learn from your mistakes. Don't do that.
They are dealing with exes, whether it has to do with you and your partner, communication. Finances. So at the end of the day, communication is so key. Communicate, talk, be open, say how you feel. And definitely by the wisdom and the grace of God, you guys will be able to solve this situation. But till next time, thank you for hanging with us. I hope you learned one or two, and feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section. Bye guys.
Bye. Have a nice